These by far have to be the most overrated cards from the Scarlet and Violet sets. Hello PokéPosse, I'm PokéThrillz Tyler and welcome back to the PokéThrillz studio. Please consider joining the thrills by hitting that subscribe button, giving this video a like, and consider becoming a member and enjoying some amazing freaking perks. Now we got a spicy one today, and this might, piss some of you off, but we're gonna talk about my personal 5 cards I feel are the most overrated cards from the Scarlet and Violet sets, from the Scarlet and Violet series. Now, there was a lot of thought process that went into these. There's a lot of these that, again, are just very personal, and I'm going based off a collector standpoint because I do not play the game. I'm horrible at the game. I'm not even sure if I've ever won a match every time I play the game. I'm that bad at the game, but I'm an avid collector. I love collecting, so my mind, when I thought of these, went to the collector's standpoint, or a collector's mind. And this might irritate some of you that are actually playing the game competitively, and I know I've talked to people that play the game competitively. Their minds were completely different from someone that is a collector, so there might be some disagreements here, and you could think I'm wrong and stupid, and that's fine because I am probably wrong and stupid. But again, these are my opinions, so everyone's allowed to have their own opinions. But we're gonna get into this. I'm gonna have my 5, like I said, my 5 cards I think are the most overrated from the Scarlet and Violet series only, and we'll go into other series too. I think this will be a fun little new thing I'm doing with this channel. But before we really get into this, we're only going to be talking about the sets that have been released in the US, like officially released in the US, not the ones that are in Japan released right now, but officially released in the US, which right now the last set released in the US is Twilight Masquerade, so we're only going to be talking about the cards so far leading up to Twilight Masquerade. I'm going to start with the lowest tier, and then like the last one I go over will be the number 1 card that I feel like is the most overrated from the Scarlet and Violet series. But let's just jump into it right meow. Alright, so number 5, this one is kind of, I guess some people, you could say it's kind of like a joke, but I absolutely hate this card. It's not really necessarily overrated in the aspect of everyone loves this card, but this card is pulled so much, and I hate this card so much. It's Clive from Paldean Fates, and it's actually the first full art SIR I pulled from Paldean Fates when I got it in Mexico about 3 days early before it actually got released in the US. And I bought, if you didn't see that video, it was an amazing video. But we got an ETB in Mexico and we pulled Clive from it, and I hate this card so much. One, it's pulled way too much. The card's not worth very much or anything, but the Clive is such a douche. He's such a douche. I hate this card. The way he's mucking up his hair. We actually have that graded by precision, graded at 9.5, and that slab now has just become kind of like the joke slab, and it's the slab that we use for all the videos where we needed a slab to get abused. Clive is now that card. I mean, look at the card. Clive is just a douche. I feel like just for that aspect, he had to be on the list for the most overrated cards again. So that is why Clive is number 5. Yeah, not the highest on the list, but... And everyone's pulled this card 600 times, by the way. Just want to say, if you've opened a lot of Paldean Fates, you've pulled Clive 100 million times. Anyways, that is my take at number 5, Clive. Rhymed. Alright, next card we got on the list here is Charizard SIR from Obsidian Flames. Few reasons now. A lot of you, again, gonna be maybe upset with this one, but when I think of an SIR, I think of it as SIR's taken over for alternate arts, that we got in the Sword and Shield era. And the one thing I loved with alternate arts is they told a story with the card. Moonbryon, reaching for the moon. It has all this beautiful art. Rayquaza from Evolving Skies going through the city or whatever. Alternate arts had a story. Charizard from Brilliant Stars fighting Venusaur. Alternate arts built a story within the card. And as a collector, or as someone that opens Pokemon packs, when we pull these cards, we can see that story in the card. It even makes us a little bit more excited about pulling the alternate art. The SIR from Obsidian Flames, there's no story, and honestly, it's not that far off from the ultra rare full art Charizard. I just don't feel like there is, like, they didn't change the colors. All they did was pretty much change the stance of the Charizard a little bit in the SIR version versus the ultra rare full art Charizard from Obsidian Flames. So, and there's 3 big Charizards. Technically, I think 4 in the whole Obsidian Flames set. So it's like, you could have done something so much bigger and something so much better, but in the end, I feel like the SIR just kind of gets drowned and lost in Obsidian Flames, and it's still a pretty pricey card. It's still a big chase card from Obsidian Flames, but I feel like for the fact that there's no story in the card, it's not so far off from the full art ultra rare. It's an overrated card, and again, I put it at number 4. I mean, like, there's a lot. I mean, like, there's a lot of cards in Obsidian Flames that are so great, and I feel like the Pidgeot EX SIR is so much better than the Charizard SIR. Like, the Pidgeot, like I was saying, tells a story. It has some artwork to it. Charizard does not, so there you go. Alright, next card, number 3 on the list is Gholdengo SIR from Paradox Rift. I think this is a stupid Pokemon in general, but this card is, for some reason, still hanging on, and is still a card that's worth over $20 freaking for some reason. One, like I was talking about, I like SIRs, I like being compared to alternate arts, being able to tell a story. And Gholdengo's card, this card doesn't really tell a story. There's so many cool SIRs in Paradox Rift, even though Paradox Rift isn't my favorite set. By all means, it might be even one of my least favorite sets from the Scarlet and Violet series so far. But this card doesn't tell a story. It's just a boring card, and I do not like Gholdengo. Again, this is all personal opinion. I feel like this is a completely overrated card. It's not a card that should be worth over $20. Like, there's cards that are worth like $5 or less from Scarlet and Violet sets, and I think they're absolutely amazing cards. Like Seguro SIR from Paldea Vault. I feel like that's a beautiful card, but that card's only worth like $5. So why is Gholdengo $20? And maybe one of you that play the game maybe can tell me in the comments below why it holds such a value, because I'm guessing it maybe is pretty good for the game aspect of it. But as a collector, this card is bogus, man. And I mean, let's just face it, Gholdengo is literally just Gumby by Gum. That's all Gholdengo is. I mean, and I think that's why I hate this Pokemon so much. It's just because it's Gumby by Gum, and I'm old. All right, you know, I grew up in the time of Gumby by Gum. Some of you might not even know what Gumby by Gum is, but Google Gumby by Gum, and you will see the similarities between Gholdengo and Gumby by Gum. I mean, Pokemon even had it start with a G as well. I think they took a lot of inspiration out of Gumby and threw it into Gholdengo, and Gholdengo's stupid. That's just the way it is. Alright, we've reached number 2 of the most overrated card from the Scarlet and Violet series, and this one's gonna probably piss some of you off, but we're going high diving into Twilight Masquerade, the latest set that has released in the US, and we're going with the top-notch card from that set, Greninja. Stupid card, alright? One, it's so hard to even see the Greninja within the card, and I mean, like, you can tell it's Greninja, but like it's kind of a messy card. In my opinion, it's a very messy card. It's hard to tell everything that's going on in the card, and with it being so messy, it's also so plain, like, where it doesn't tell a story. Again, I like my SIRs, I like my alternate arts to tell a story, and I know I'm not alone on that. A lot of you all love to have your alternate arts and SIRs tell a story. That's a big topic that's been in the Pokemon community, why we love these cards. And Greninja clearly does not tell a story. It's a messy card, and I just don't get the hype over it. Like, I think Greninja is a great Pokemon, but again, Pokemon, Nintendo, Pokemon International, whoever we're talking to, they could have made this card so much better. They could have taken Greninja and made a beautiful SIR. I think they should have made Greninja similar-esque to the Charizard and Venusaur alternate art from Brilliant Stars. Like, have Greninja be the main character on the card, but have Greninja like maybe like fighting in a battle with another Pokemon. Like, I feel like that would have been freaking dope. I feel like there's just so many options they could have done, and with Greninja, and they could have even maybe thrown in Ash in the background a little bit. Like, that would have been cool. Maybe made Ash's Greninja as the biggest pull from the set. I don't know. There's so many options that they could have done with Greninja. Greninja is a great Pokemon, I think, to make the highlight of the set, but they failed Greninja. They failed the fans with this one so bad. It's a messy card, not a lot going on, no story. And again, this is all my personal opinion. I know some of you are going to be upset with this at number 2 in the selection, but bad card. Bad card. Bad Nintendo. Bad. Alright, now we're here. Finally, number 1 card that is the most overrated card from the Scarlet and Violet set or series so far. This one's gonna really piss some of you off. And then some of you were like, yeah, dude, nailed it. Like, I can feel like this one right here is gonna be like, some of you are gonna hate me forever on this one, and then some of you are gonna be like, thinking I freaking nailed it with this one. But we're going with your boy, Charizard once again, but the Charizard SIR from 151. The most let down card, the most overrated card from the Scarlet and Violet series. Now, and you're gonna argue with me like, but you would talk about how you want your cards to tell a story, and this one kind of tells a story. Yes, this one does. This Charizard does tell a story more than the ones that I was talking about before. However, they make Charizard very frumpy. Like, I don't know, like, from the TVs, like from the TV series, especially from when I was a kid, Charizard was always a badass and was always like super, like, I don't want to say shredded because they're Pokemon. They're not. I don't want to say shredded because they're Pokemon and not humans, but Charizard was always just a really badass, strong-looking Pokemon, one that you don't want to mess with. Charizard flying through the sky in 151. He's got a big old belly. And, like, I'm not intimidated by that Charizard. And I feel like the card's beautiful. Has a lot of beautiful colors on it. But it is so overhyped. And I do not want to... I do not hate this card. I should start out with that, actually. And say I do not hate this card. But it is over freaking rated. Like, this card got so overhyped when it came out. And the main reason why I think it's so overhyped is because its 2 counterpart SIRs, Blastoise and Venusaur, I feel like are so much better arts, are so much cooler cards than Charizard. And I know, like I said, I know some of you are going to be really pissed about this, but like even my boy Sheerforce, whose favorite Pokemon is Charizard, big old Charizard fan, if you know anything about Sheerforce, kind of came out and agreed with me when 151 came out that Charizard wasn't the best, wasn't his chase pull, because freaking Pokemon loves to hype up Charizard and loves to put Charizard in sets to sound the set, but they did Charizard dirty on this one. They made its counterpoints, Blastoise and Venusaur's cards, way more desirable to be pulled. In my personal opinion, the artwork on them, everything is way cooler with those cards than Charizard. They made Charizard frumpy. I'm no longer like thinking, oh, Charizard's a badass. I just think it's a frumpy Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like, it's no, like, Dragonite now is taken over as the badass dragon from the Pokemon series with that Charizard. Like, that it's just, the artwork's cool, but it got so overrated, and Pokemon made its counterpart cards so much cooler looking than that one. So that's my take. Those are my 5 most overrated cards from the Scarlet and Violet series. I know you're probably all gonna go down in the comments and let me know if you agree or disagree, but I would love to hear it all. I know that I knew when I made this, going in to make this video, I was gonna get some disagreement, and I'm okay with that. But let me know how you all feel in the comments below. I love you all. Peace, love you, bye.